Hey, you are watching and listening to Sipping Off the Cuff on Tequila Aficionado Media. All of our channels and networks. I'm Mike Morales here in the heartbeat of Southern California. And that gentleman out there is.
Jim Johnston in Northeast Ohio.
You'll excuse me if I use my FM radio voice. Anybody remember FM? Anyway.
We're coming to you live for now.
yeah, live for now. We're in a car dealership. Yeah, get here someday. I'm not a puker, believe me. For those of you in radio, you know what puker means. For those of you in TV, Jim knows what a puker is.
Yeah, we're going to do some live spots at the grand opening of the Pizza Hut.
Yeah. Oh boy,
we sold out. That's
hey, that's what happens. Jim and I have been falling all over ourselves with Comisario, and this is the Comisario Anejo. And I'm really, really anxious to try this. We love the Blanco, nominated it for Brand of Promise. Reposado, same thing, really artistically done. And this one, what did you discover about this Anejo? I think it's 23 months, right?
23 months in American oak whiskey barrels, once-used whiskey barrels, and then it finishes for 3 months in red wine barrels from California.
Check this out, folks. Look at the color on this thing. I'm excited because after when we interviewed Jose, and you can watch that interview on Open Bar, just go to our YouTube channel. You can find it. Jose and I spent a great hour, and I had known about him, and we had communicated off and on prior to his interview. In any case, he is also responsible for the brand called Penta. If you're not familiar with Penta, look it up. It was a Brand of Promise nominee and winner last year. We loved the brand, and it comes from, again, he's supervised, he's a master distiller of that brand. But the reason for that was so unusual, and he was so excited about it because when I interviewed him, it hadn't come on the market yet. So it was just getting ready to launch. And he said, Mike, you should have seen what we did. We blended in Napa Valley barrels, and we did this and did that, and we came up with this. And he was really excited because he had to jump through a lot of hoops to get the flavor profiles the way these. It's owned by gentlemen who own wineries. They're vintners, and so the brand had to be specific to their tastes. And I would venture to say that this Comisario is the first time, or one of the first few times, that Jose had a chance to play with wine barrels. So this is kind of like the forerunner of what Penta has now evolved into. It's a whole new. They really upped that game. And when they took it to him, that was a smart move. So
that is strange new territory there, though. I mean, when you start to play around with the flavor profiles that come out of a wine barrel.
Yeah. Oh, when you're smelling the cork like a wine cork. Wait a minute. Ooh. Ooh, that smells good. See, that's a real cork. Yes, it does. That's a real cork. So you can get away with that. I'm going to pour mine in the Stossel. I should have used the Glencairn, but I'm using the Stossel that I normally use for Mezcal, which it's not going to hurt this brand at all.
No.
I can imagine. Now the color, and that's interesting. I had not had a chance to read the sell sheet. They sent us a ton of material, information on the brand itself, brochures and whatnot. And I noticed it had kind of a brassy look to it through the glass. And, sometimes Jim and I have talked about how the packaging sometimes or the labeling will affect the color that you see in the bottle versus what you see in your glass. But now, because I noticed that this one had some like red highlights. It was almost like it had like a brassy look to it,
Yep.
And you're using the Glencairn, so.
Yes. And I got to tell you, legs and tears take a while on this because it is a stuck cascade at the top of that glass. That hangs on for a long, long time. That's got some body to it.
Yeah. Well, again, the Blanco was really, the flavor profile belied the bouquet. because you think it's going to go in really gentle, and then we found out, wow, this has got a lot of character on that Blanco, and then the Reposado took us someplace else. It rounded out the edges. Oh, there they go. That
Yeah,
nice.
it takes a minute, and then they
Yeah,
get there.
that's really, well, that's a pretty color, man. Even on camera, even on my camera. um, yeah, that is some.
Got just a little bit of a red orange hue on it, probably off the red wine.
Well, that explains it, because I had not put those two together until just before I came on camera, and I thought, wait a minute, red wine barrels? That explains the color. Because
Yeah,
one of my favorites, and hopefully they haven't changed the flavor profile since they sold the brand, is Pura Vida Tequila, and they have a 5-year extra añejo that's aged in Napa Valley barrels, and it's barrel strength, and it's just beautiful, and it's dry like the wine barrel it came out of, and that's a beautiful, full bodied tequila. So I'm not expecting this to have that much character on it, because it's only 80 proof. It's an añejo,
right.
but it's beautiful. It's just pretty to look at. That cork was interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, hello. Oh my gosh.
Somebody
Wow.
just took a pie out of the oven.
Yeah. Holy cats, man. That
That has spice and baked spice, but it still has some sweetness to it. It still has some floral notes to it. It still has a little bit of.
It's deep. It's rich. It's got that richness. Like you
Yeah.
don't get this kind of richness on the just on the nose, unless you're talking about an extra añejo. And I'm not even talking about. I'm not getting dried fruit. It's almost like I'm getting ripe fruit.
Right.
Like plums and cherries, not dried or anything like that. They're still the ripe to eat.
There's a hint of like good vanilla bean ice cream in here. Just a little sweet vanilla in that spice, in that baked spice there, that like you threw a dollop of ice cream on a baked pie. That's what it smells. That sweet vanilla, and then the cinnamon sugar spice, and then a little bit of fruit that came off of it.
Ah.
Man, this is apple pie in a glass.
It's apple pie in a glass, folks. Oh my God.
Man.
But there's a wine thing going on, there's a grape thing going on, but it's at the end. It's not it's not prominent, and maybe because my glass has got the wider mouth, so it should have opened up a little bit sooner than it would in the tequila glass that I use from Stasel, the Jarrito.
Mm.
But you've got the Glencairn, so that's a great tool for all expressions of tequila. So I'm good with that. Nothing is muted about this thing. This
is elevated what the Blanco was, and where the Blanco had a little bit more of that vibrant fresh fruit, pepper or anise, and the Repo had a little bit of that more sweet floral baked spice. This has got spice, sweetness, pepper, floral, little bit of dried fruit, little bit of ripe fruit, but all of it. And then right at the end, there's that little bit of barrel spice that just comes back through again. And I think it's coming off the wine. It's more tannic. It's got a little like.
That's it. Tannic. That's exactly the working on my descriptors. That's exactly the word I was looking for. That's why I said there's a grape thing going on. It's very reminiscent to me of the 5-year that I was talking about earlier. Oh, I'm ready to dive in, man. This stuff is beautiful.
Let's sip it.
Mm.
Oh my God. Wow.
Wow.
Mm. Oh.
We never even discussed the finish on the Repo. The Blanco was actually kind of.
Well, and the finish on the Repo wasn't as long, but all that sweetness in the top of your mouth kind of belied any of that warmth going down, because you felt so much of it up here. This, it's here, it's here, it's here, it's
Yeah,
here,
it's all the way down. It
all
keeps
the way
giving.
down.
Well,
This
that's
is
what I love.
so. This is the flavor brightness of the Blanco, where that pepper comes in and the spice comes in, and then the sweetness and the baked spice of the Repo is now increased in the middle of my palate, and then the back end is this just little bit of peppery anise, almost a coffee finish at the end.
Yeah.
That I think the wine is kind of imparting that tannin makes it a little bit more acidic like a coffee, but it tastes like a sweet coffee, but a long finish with a little bit of pepper on it. It's like this is a bourbon drinker's
I was going to say.
Anejo.
I was going to say
This
that.
has got something like a rye spice on a good bourbon.
Ooh, that's it. This is beautiful. What a beautiful nose. What a great finish on this thing. It just really it takes all parts of your palate, your tongue, your all it hits all the sweet spots. Wow. Holy
You ever
cow.
put a slice of pineapple on the grill and you
Yeah.
get that sweet little bit of smoke, char taste, but the sweetness is obviously what you taste the most, but you get a little of that grill flavor. All the fruit on this has been grilled. It has been baked, and a little smokiness, and the tannic gives it a little bit of that. Everything kind of feels like a cooked spice and fruit, but the pepper has never gone away. All three of them have a little bit of that hint of pepper and anise, and pepper
Well,
and anise in a warm finish is nice. That's like that's
that's like a warm hug inside.
it really is. It's like a warm piece of Easter bread that you toast and put some butter on.
Oh, stop. You're killing me.
Oh man. This really is just, I think, perfectly balanced from the front of your palate to the back of your palate.
Mm-hmm.
There is not one thing here that stands out to me as the dominant flavor. All the flavors are by themselves, but it's in a process. It's got that little sweet undertone, that little spice at the back, that nice warm finish.
We were talking about groups and bands that you belong to. You know what band this is? This is a great jazz band where everybody gets their solo, and the song will last about 25. It's like the Jazz Crusaders. Remember the Jazz Crusaders? Remember those guys? You don't?
I
You
don't.
must.
I'll have to check
Look
that
it up
out.
on YouTube. The Jazz Crusaders. Those guys, legendary. I mean, legendary. And that's what this is. This is a great jazz combo that they know how each other will play. You know, they just know everybody's moves. You know what it's like when you play with your intuition. You know when he's done, so that you can start. This is what this is. This is a great.
And that's the thing. You got one instrument that does his solo, and everybody else, they don't drop out, but they keep playing their notes behind it, and these notes are always there. That sweetness is at the front, it's at the back, but it complements that agave floral that goes into kind of a baked pepper and spice, into an anise and chocolate, coffee, red wine finish that's so warm. If you like having an after dinner drink and you're a red wine drinker, if you like bourbon, if you even like Speyside or Highland malt scotches, this will hit all of those notes. And the agave is there, but for the untrained person, the agave is not going to say, hey, it's tequila and hit you.
Yeah.
But you'll be able to sip on this. And I told you I was getting something ready for this. I'm going to pair this with a Rocky Patel Decade. When we're done here, I'm going to go take care of that. But
gotta go have that.
this needs a cigar with a little bit of earth and cocoa and spice that's got a little bit more boldness to it, but nothing harsh. And I think do not do anything else with this but sip it. That's it.
Yeah.
Don't put an ice cube in it. That's just wrong. Just sip it.
You heard it from this guy who who is a big whiskey. He's my guide into the whiskey category, whiskeys and scotches, because, oh my gosh, this is lovely. Jose did
It
a
really
wonderful.
is.
I think Brand of Promise nominee in the Anejo category. What a strong. There was not a weak link in this chain.
No.
All the expressions were beautiful, and I was really anxious to go through this with you because, like I mentioned, if you haven't seen the Blanco review, you might want to watch it. I know it's got a lot of story in it, and it was I have been following this brand for over 10 years through its fits and starts. It was always a winner, and I was glad to find out that the master distiller is still involved. And we answered the question why they moved distilleries. Well, one of them shut down, but
Right.
the equipment virtually the same, the agave the same, everything the same. I can tell you from 10 years ago when I just had that brief moment where I tasted the Blanco, nothing has changed. It's the same juice. Wow, congratulations to these guys, and
Yeah.
thank you to Elite Beverage who made that happen. They sent us all kinds of marketing material. Sometimes Jim and I don't get any.
Right.
So all we have
We're
is
flying blind a lot of the time.
yeah, we're flying blind. But so, we get it. When it boils down, people are really happy with what. So maybe they do it to test us. I don't know.
Maybe.
Don't care. Keep testing.
Yeah. I'm going to say one thing about this whole line, from Blanco to Anejo, that I don't think I've experienced tasting with Tequila Aficionado before. We've had juice that the Blanco's excellent, the Reposado's excellent, the Anejo's excellent, and the process of resting them and aging them magnifies qualities. This is one of the first ones I've ever had where the Blanco by itself is a stellar sipper, but also a phenomenal cocktail mixer.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Reposado and the Anejo kind of progress away from that. It's almost like your youth. The Blanco is your early 20s. You can drink whatever you want and not get hungover. You can mix it. You can sip it. You can have a cigar with it. The Anejo is your grandfather. It is mature. It is mellow. It's got a cigar. I've never seen a tequila go from such bright vibrance of the Blanco that it can be versatile and do all those things. Sip it, smoke a cigar with it, pair it with a cocktail, all the way to please do not do anything to this. Don't touch it. Don't touch it at all. Just sip on it and pair a cigar with it, and that's all. And
leave the old man alone. It's
right.
I guess it's like a Pappy Van Winkle of tequilas or something. I don't know.
Yeah, he's in the den watching his programs. Don't bother him.
Yeah, don't bother. He's watching the shows. Wow, that's a great. I'll take that. With that, I think we're done, ladies and gentlemen. That's our take on Comisario, the entire line. What a stellar line it is! If you can find it, you can get it. Do so. Pay whatever. I don't even know if probably not available in Ohio. That's why.
No, of course not.
No, of course not. I don't have a price point on. That's one thing I don't think we got from Elite Beverage. They were the ones who made that happen for us. Thank you guys. I do appreciate that. They're here they're in Anaheim, California, so they're in Angel territory.
I'm seeing Comisario in the Anejo ranging from $58 to $69. The Reposado in the 45 to 50 category.
Wow.
And the Blanco anywhere from 35 to 44, just depending on where you're getting it and what kind of taxes and fees you're paying. But gosh, I see the Anejo here for $102. That's an online provider, though.
Yeah, and it's probably worth it. That's the quality. First of all, shocking to me that the price points are where they are at, because the quality of this juice, all three, really should be priced a little higher. I mean, I wouldn't blink twice paying $100 for that at Anejo. Well,
I'm seeing more $100 prices as I go down here. And by God, the delivery fee alone is a third of the bottle price. So go to your local liquor store if they have it and get
Yeah.
this stuff for what should be in the $65 to $70 range.
Well, just to clarify, you folks are probably watching this in May. This is the end of March. What's going on right now is that there's an añejo shortage. There's a shortage of aged spirits, and I think that's what you're seeing. You're seeing the result of a shortage of añejo. So not only do we have an agave shortage that we're still dealing with, and the pricing is still high, we're seeing an añejo shortage on the market. And you're starting to see the prices are going up. So if you can get this, like Jim said, if you can get it at your local liquor store, back up the truck, get a few bottles, because
it's going to start getting to the point like bourbon has been for the last 3 years, where a bottle that retails here in Ohio for $25, but you only have a shot at once a year, is going to start selling for $125. Only because of the scarcity of it. And I mean, this is a sad thing for any spirit, but anybody in the bourbon world who likes bourbon knows that something that 10 years ago you could find on the shelf of every liquor store and get for $40 is now people are standing in line at 6 a.m. and paying $400 for it.
Wow.
And that is simply because of the number of people who decided, I'm going to start buying this thing, and the production capacity. And now there's this shortage and the price goes up. The juice doesn't change at all.
Yeah.
But and most of the time you're not buying it from your liquor store at that price. You're buying it from a delivery service or a secondary retailer, or somebody on a Facebook page who said, I got this bottle for,
Right.
for $250. Don't do that. Don't be that person. Sip, don't flip, and don't drive this market crazy.
Yeah, well, you heard it here. That's our advice, okay? Take it or leave it. That's up to you. But, I agree. I think you're starting to see the pricing is going to go up. It's just tough, and there are brands like Comisario that will not buy bulk añejo from other,
I don't think they could reproduce this, and why would you try?
Yeah,
why would you short yourself that way?
Yeah, why would you do that, something like that, and then cheat your customer at the same time?
Exactly.
If you're going to keep the quality the way it is, I can tell you from experience, this brand has about 10 years of fits and starts, and it still tastes the same as I remember it when I first tasted it in Vegas, and that was only the Blanco. So, kudos to Comisario and sticking to your guns.
Yep.
But yeah, get it while you can, because it will be a while before, if at all, if prices ever come down for añejo. I mean, this is only helping the market drive it even further. But whatever. All I can say is, if you can get it now, get it locally. That's great. If you can get it without getting a delivery service fee on it, do that. But there's a reason. That's why you're starting to see it, because the delivery services, people are having a hard time finding it. Now I bet liquor stores are buying from each other. I mean, pretty much the way it's been working, in every spirit industry. I think we were talking about shortages. I remember when Japanese whiskey, there was a shortage of that, like less than 5 years ago, I think it was, and the Japanese are just going to say, we're not going to produce it. We're aging it right now. We're not going to rush it. And, that's what they did.
Well, and the Japanese aren't going to rush anything that they've spent years perfecting. So if it's not there, it's not coming.
Yeah, exactly. So there you go, folks. That's our take on the market and on Comisario Anejo. You have been watching and listening to Sipping Off the Cuff on Tequila Aficionado Media on all of our channels and networks. I'm Mike Morales here in Southern California. That guy out there was, or is,
Jim Johnston. Oh, I hope not was. Jim Johnston in Northeast Ohio.
And whatever you're doing, if you're watching us on YouTube, please subscribe. If you're listening to us on the podcast, download it wherever you get your podcasts, like Spotify. And whatever you do, tomar sabiamente.
Sip wisely.